it is now, and I've done this before, and I really enjoyed it last time. So it's now my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to introduce an old friend to wrap us up with his final remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaz Bountra.
Martina, less of the old, please. I have to say, I mean, I'd prepared 2 or 3 notes I thought I would share with you at the end, but we've already covered them. So one was around the sort of power of collaboration. The second was about needing to think differently. And so it's almost scuppered what I was going to say. But let me say the following things. This whole project was built on the premise of, you know, what are the strengths in the UK? And in the UK, we've got brilliant universities. You know, they are producing leaders and innovators and researchers and entrepreneurs, etc. We have got a National Health Service, you know, with data on what 67, 68 million people birth to death, etc. You know, our funders actually over the past couple of decades have had the vision to fund major platforms like UK Biobank, Genomics England, create the Sanger Institute. The government has also created these catapults like, you know, the Medicines Discovery Catapult in Manchester. So when Julie and Glenn and many others conceived this project, what we wanted to do was to try and bring together some of these strengths and build on that and focus on a big global problem, in this case, multi-morbidity associated with aging. And that's what the whole spine project's built on. I should also say, of course, you know, as academics, we all moan about lack of funding, etc. But it's also worth reminding ourselves that in terms of VC type funding, in the UK, we have more funding per head than any other country in Europe. And the only countries that have more than us is, of course, US and China, etc. But, you know, we are in a very lucky position, and I think we shouldn't forget that. The second comment I'd make is we've talked a lot about collaboration, and we've talked a lot about leadership. And the one thing, I think a word that we haven't used today is humility. And I do think if we are going to bring together lots of stakeholders or lots of collaborators to work on a particular problem, then each of us has got to be humble enough to recognize what we're not good at. And I think as a leader, we have to recognize what we're not good at and surround ourselves with people who can make up that deficit. And likewise, when doing a big global scientific project, again, we need to recognize that there are certain things we're not good at. We don't have enough of the technology or the expertise or whatever, and we have to partner with institutes to do that. And so in this spine project, you know, we recognize that Julie and Mike Ferguson and Paul Wyatt had set up this amazing drug discovery unit in Dundee with lots of medicinal chemistry. They generated clinical candidates. They knew how to sort of partner with pharma and patient groups and NGOs, etc. That's why we partnered with them. We partnered with the NDC because they've got access to a big CRO network, biotech network, patient network, and we wanted to tap into that. And of course, they're focused on developing technologies that we need in drug discovery. With Birmingham, we partnered with them because they've got a catchment of 6 million people, expertise in inflammation and aging. They've got a translational focus. They've got a relatively new hospital with 1,300 beds, electronic record. And the reason for partnering with the CRIC was, of course, they've got lots of relevant cool biology that we needed to apply. That's how we created this project. So I think humility is something that is important. We need to recognize what our deficiencies are. The third thing was, and I think Martina touched on it, is that sort of, you know, one of the other reflections over the past several months is, and it's good, people now appreciate, more people now appreciate the importance of science and the importance of technology. And also the importance of universities, I think. But I also hope people also appreciate the importance of international collaboration. And what's really nice that I think Bev and the team have done in this spine project, you know, they've created this large network across the UK involving lots more universities, lots of biotech, CROs, patient groups, VCs, pharma companies, etc., etc. And now they're going international and they're building links with Israel and other places, etc. And that's fantastic. And I think that, you know, the biggest problems facing us are the same big problems facing our colleagues in China or the US or India or Brazil, etc. And these are global problems. We need to work together to tackle them, be it aging, be it AMR, be it mental health, be it climate change, whatever. We need to work together. The fourth comment was around communication. And, you know, one thing that actually worries me so much is that there are many of us who are desperate for the vaccines, and hopefully all of us will get them by the middle of next year and we'll start to get back to some sort of normality, etc. But what worries me is that 20-30% of people out there are saying that they're not going to take them. And so how do we persuade them? You know, we've clearly gone wrong with our communication. So that's something that we really do need to give a lot of thought to. And the final comment is really on this project, the Spine project under Bev's leadership. You know, the Spine project, they created this national network. They've started to generate pilot data. They're starting to work on targets. They're starting to come up with a pipeline for multimorbidity associated with aging. They're starting to think about new biomarkers, new ways of stratifying patients. They're exploring opportunities for repurposing, et cetera, et cetera. And that's great. That's the progress in the past 2-3 years, et cetera. What we're going to have to do now in the next 2-3 years is really scale up this endeavor, and we need to deliver. And when I say deliver, we need to deliver new validated targets for multimorbidity. We need to identify clinical candidates. We need to come up with new biomarker signatures, new ways of stratifying patients. We need to push molecules into the clinic, hopefully come up with clinically de-risked assets. We need to work closely with our friends in pharma because we need their help to take some of these molecules and ideas all the way to the marketplace. And I hope also in the process, we will create some new companies and we will create some new jobs. I don't think we'll create a £100 billion company in the next 5 years, etc. But I think that should be a longer term ambition. So I think my final comment, excuse me, is let's just join hands and do some great things for patients and for society and for the UK economy, and try and help millions of patients all over the world. So thank you to the organizers, Bev and the team, Brian and Victoria. Thank you to all of you for listening. And Martina, you are a brilliant chair of panels, and we should just keep inviting you back. So thank you very much.